for this project, we ended up traveling to 10 countries, 20 trips total, something like that. Probably my favorite, man, I'd have to say Paris. The spots are incredible, you know, like for me, some of the best things I found was just pedaling around just like you would in New York or any other big city, you know. I ended up spending a lot of time there over the summer, and so I kind of like gathered all these spots that I really enjoyed riding and you know, whatever, put some on the list of certain things I was scared of, you know, and so spent that time out there. And then when Pete came to town, I was kind of ready and had the, you know, I was focused to kind of knock this stuff out. Before that, I wasn't very productive because I was coming off of a knee surgery. So that trip was really meaningful to me. I felt like I gained a lot of confidence back just from that.
Looking back, all the trips just blend together for me. So
shoot, yeah.
I mean, I remember obviously where we went, but Tel Aviv was honestly pretty rad. We kind of had some shit weather and whatnot, but it's a pretty interesting country to go to, especially with all the conflict and stuff, you know.
I honestly, from my perspective, I feel like it's I don't know, I feel honored to be able to be with a company and see it like grow together over the years and become stronger and stronger. And, you know, obviously new people come in, like you said, you know, Nathan come along and like watch him like grow and shape himself into something, you know, and it's just like creating a family and everyone becoming closer. And that's one of the best things about like the whole thing for me, being a part of United.
Actually, I think this one was a little bit more, I said it was a little bit more loose than the last one, but it was actually, at the same time, for me, it was a little bit more planned, kind of, because there was maybe certain setups I was looking for, or maybe like a certain trick or something like that. So it was a little bit more planned out, because the last one, I was a lot younger too, and so I was just kind of like, I don't know. I didn't have a plan about anything ever, so it was, yeah, there was a couple things that I was really kind of wanting to get for this section that I kind of needed to find like the specific setup for it that I never did, which I actually recently did. So finding the right setup for the trick that you've been thinking of is almost just as gratifying as like landing a trick sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, dang.
And then once you actually find it, that whole thing gets you so pumped on it. That's why you end up trying it, you know. And I think that's kind of one of the best things about making this project was like there really wasn't much pressure going into it. I think when people watch it, that's going to be one of the main things that they're drawn to, is seeing that like everyone is so tight and close to each other, and when we're all together, we really are a family, you know, when we're traveling together.
I think it's pretty awesome because it seems like everyone's kind of almost looking for spots for each other. You know what I mean? So like Big Jeff will dip off and like he might find something that he wants to do, but a lot of times he'll come back with like, you know, oh, like Little Jeff found something for you or whatever, or vice versa, you know. Yeah, once Little Jeff got in the crew, it's Big Jeff and Little Jeff. I don't know, for me, I feel like it was almost it seemed quicker filming time for some reason. It seemed a little bit more easygoing, honestly.
I don't know, like he's saying, it kind of went by really quick. For me, it didn't go by that quick in some parts of it, just because I was, you know what I mean, laid up in bed most of the time recovering and stuff. But I do know what he means. Like for some of it, it didn't really go by. Like the trips, it just seemed like boom, 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 and then all of a sudden we're here now. Now
that the video's kind of done, and I mean, I'm still kind of working on that neat stuff, but I don't know. I'm not necessarily content with this part, but I feel like that goes for everyone. You know, like no matter, you know, you're always just kind of gonna be your own worst critic. But like for this one, I feel like it was a little bit of a struggle for me because partway through the video part, I was just going through some like personal stuff and in a weird headspace. It was kind of a little stressful for me, but not because of the riding or anything like that. Riding in general is something that I could just kind of zone out on, you know, and that was my escape for a lot of that stuff for sure. But yeah, you know, having projects like this one to work on was a huge blessing, you know, keep my mind busy and not go crazy. Filming a clip that I know will be used towards like, you know, a kind of more long-term project. I kind of like the time that you spend on something makes it a little bit more valuable to myself or whatever, you know. Honestly,
Pete is a weird, interesting person in himself, you know. So like just traveling with him and with everyone together has been really awesome. He's quirky, but he's like one of the most fun dudes to be around.
Pete's awesome because like filming with him, he's always pretty mellow and just lighthearted and doesn't really take too many things that seriously. And you know, you show him to a spot and like he's the first one that wants to play this little game of bike.
Yeah, exactly.
Or, you know, like piddle around, and he's always riding his bike or a skateboard, and that's kind of for me motivating to see like, you know, filmer or, you know, the other dudes on the trip that aren't necessarily there to ride, but they just want to ride.
He's always got positive energy, so that, you know, goes a long way when you're on a trip. Alex's section stands out. I mean, everyone's section is amazing. Like that's the hard part.
We were just talking about that today, like the music and everything. I felt like, you know, Pete had a huge influence on people's sections and stuff like that as far as music goes, and music is a huge part of the video for me that like makes or breaks a video. And
there's not, like we talked about, there's not one section that you want to skip.
Alex's song, the Janis Joplin one, is too good.
And for me, I think going on the few trips I did with Lil Jeff, I got to see him really work and put in some time, you know, for some clips, and then seeing it all put together with some awesome music that Pete chose. I think the songs that he chose really speaks for that person's character at that time, you know, like going through the process of filming this project. Pete picked the 3-6 Mafia song. You know, it's like we talked about some old school hip hop stuff, and you know, went through a few different things, and I didn't even know that he chose this one, and he found it and like had a rough edit put together, and then just after watching it, you know, once I was like, yeah, I'm not really into 3-6 that much, and it was definitely something that I had to grow on, you know, like. But after I'd watched it a few times and kind of re-edited a couple things, it grew on me.
Yeah, I think it's sick.
Yeah,
it's so good.
So that's what that part that was like interesting in the music part for my section is like. I've never rode to a hip-hop rap song before, you know, so I think a lot of people aren't going to expect that. In the beginning, it was the knee surgery. That one was like a solid, you know, 8 months out of the game, so I missed out on that. And then getting back into it, there's just gaining confidence back, so I wasn't really in like filming mode, you know. I was kind of scared about a lot of stuff. Just sometimes things happen. It's like you always have like small minor things, and then I ended up breaking my collarbone actually the first spot of the last trip of the video. And so yeah, that sucked, but hey, that's the price you pay, you know. I think just due to injuries and probably with just age, I've like learned to be a little more picky and I don't know, choose my battles wisely, you know, because I know like I don't want to waste a lot of time on this or that, end up being hurt before the next trip and things like that. So I think that maybe just comes with traveling a lot too. So the DVD's out now. Find your closest mail order shop, get a hold of it, watch it, and digital downloads will be available next month. But yeah.
Yeah.